So this is the walkthrough video for PCTC 2022-23 Round 1 Senior. This is question 9, X marks the spot. So we're essentially given two coordinates of where the treasure is, and we want to print out the entire map or the entire grid where we've marked where the treasure is on the grid. So there are a couple of different ways of doing this. I'm going to show you a method that uses 2D arrays because I think that's probably the nicest way. But anyway, let's start off by first inputting what we need as usual. So we input our x and y coordinate. Is that the correct order? Yep, that's our correct order. And yep, it's quite useful because I think the x and y coordinate is 0 indexed. Yeah, perfect. That makes our lives easier. Okay, so now what we want to do, at least the way I'm going to do it, is I'm going to initially create this entire grid full of hashtags. So grid is going to be equal to the hashtag symbol times by 10 because I think the length of a row is 10. Yep. So this is going to represent a row, but because we want it as a 2D array so we can modify it, let's turn that into a list like that. And this represents our row now. And we want 10 rows. So let's wrap that in a list comprehension, which is a really efficient way to create lists. Okay, perfect. So what this code does is it creates a 2D array of 10 elements, and each of those elements has 10 hashtags in them. So this is our grid, and this bit is a bit, like this line of code is a bit confusing, but once you've got that done, this makes the next bit really, really easy, which is just finding your x and y coordinates, so like that, and changing it to the x. So what I've done here is I've taken the x and y coordinate from the input, and remember in Python you always need to reference the row first, so you need to reference the y coordinate first, and then the x. So I've just switched around the positions of the x and y like that. And I've changed that element from a hashtag, which is what we set everything to be, to now equal an x. And at this point, all I have to do is have to print out the grid. So let's say for row in grid, we want to print out the row. We want to print out the row in this format. And if you've seen my question 8 video, you'll know what I'm talking about here. We can do that by writing this. So we've taken, so let's just submit that for now. So what this does is it takes all of the elements in a list and it smushes them all together with nothing in between them. And then it prints that out. So it essentially will print out exactly what we want. And hopefully, yep, I guess that's 5 out of 5. So here I've used just a couple of nice tricks to make this code really short. Worth learning these tricks if you plan to compete in PCTC.